Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. Today we find Jesus entering into the synagogue, and it was Sabbath day. I hope you know by now that for the Jews, on Sabbath day, all work was forbidden, and to heal was to work. So, to heal was also forbidden on Sabbath. The Jewish law was definite and detailed about this. But there were also exemptions, especially emergency situations. Medical attention could be given if a life was in danger. For example, if a woman happens to be in childbirth on a Sabbath day, obviously, this is something no one could either anticipate or postpone. The woman could be helped. Or if a wall fell on anyone, enough might be cleared away to see whether he was dead or alive. If he was alive, he might be helped. For obvious reason, the person could die. But if he was already dead, the body must be left until the next day. But as life and death situations could be exemptions to the rule, outside of it outside of it should not be treated. A fracture could not be attended to. Cold water might not be poured on a sprained hand or foot, and so many other things. So, in essence, things that could be postponed the following day, they should be postponed precisely because it was forbidden to work on a Sabbath. But we see a litmus test in our gospel today, the case of a man with a withered hand. William Barclay tells us that the Greek word used here means that he had not been born that way. Some illness had taken the strength from him. In an apocryphal text, it tells us that the man was a stone mason and that he besought Jesus to help him because his livelihood was in his hands and he was ashamed to beg. So the question is, was this an emergency situation? That is, a life and death situation? Was this something that needed to be addressed and addressed immediately? Or could it be postponed to tomorrow? The answer was obvious. It was not a life and death situation. This man's life was not in immediate danger. And if Jesus was more cautious, he would not have healed this man. For healing, for healing this man was inviting scandal and even inviting trouble. And Jesus knew that so well. Yet, he still healed the man. He even asked the man first to come up here before us, as if he wanted to make sure that everybody could see what he would do. First, he asked the experts in the law two questions. Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath rather than to do evil? Obviously, they were bound to admit that, yes, it was lawful to do good than evil on Sabbath. And surely it was a good thing to help the man and heal him. And it was an evil thing to leave a man in wretchedness when it was possible to help him. They were placed in a dilemma, and no wonder they could not argue with Jesus. But the point of Jesus today isn't to shame religious leaders. No. Neither he wanted to break laws and ask his followers to do the same. No. Jesus had the highest regard for laws and rituals, as you would see in his entire lifetime. But for Jesus, laws and rituals must lead to love of God and to love of neighbor. Sabbath, or the day of the Lord, never meant inactivity or passiveness. No, it must be a day of sanctification and a day of glorifying God. And what better way to glorify God than to love our neighbors, to help the poor and the needy, and to do the best that we can to do the will of the Father? Friends, if your worship does not lead you to all these, It is time for change. Let Jesus heal your withered hands and your withered hearts. Amen.